you and me, banknotes are a means of paying for our shopping. To my next guest, though, they're works of art. Santiago Montoya's new body of work is made entirely of intricately cut paper currencies. Why? Well, he's here to tell us. It's lovely to have you on the programme.
Thanks for having me.
Most of us can't imagine beginning to fold and cut these precious bits of paper, this money. Why did you choose that as the medium you wanted to work with?
Well, I didn't choose it. It was an extensive process to get there, painting for many, many years, and I really wanted to achieve something that will allow me to paint, but without the traditional methods. And at some point, this was the year 2007, before the financial crisis, it just popped in my head that a banknote is, on its own, it is a piece of art. You know, if you look at how intricate it is, how elaborated it is, and it also has that intricate value that we all give to it, just like art.
Yeah, and as such, it's illegal in some countries to deface and to change banknotes. The European Commission even has guidelines on it. Whilst it's not illegal in Europe, they say that they encourage countries not to encourage artists to use the notes as a medium. Has that given you pause for thought at all?
No, I don't. I think it's a general guideline so that people are not going to incite others to use this in a transgressive way just for the sake of it. I think, and many artists have been using banknotes for their artworks, and if you actually do something positive with it, I don't think it's going to be seen in a negative way.
Let's take a closer look at some of your works now. We've seen that one there of the euro sign. So how do you make that? What's actually going into that?
You're looking at over 3,000 banknotes from countries all over the world. And of course, you are talking about situations that are historical, that are taking place at the moment, and how we are ever more connected because of the type of economy that the world is experiencing today. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can't imagine any country except for North Korea, and not even so, being connected to the market in the entire world. So when you talk about euro or you talk about dollars or yuans, it's everything affects everything else, and we can see it more and more on a regular basis. It used to be the dollar, then we had the euro as a center of our conversation when it came to the economy. Now we're discussing about the yuan.
And explain to me exactly how you are creating these pictures. What are you doing with those individual notes?
It's a process that requires each one of those 3,000 or 4,000 banknotes to be cropped individually by hand. I have different processes that include laser cutting, pasting, assembling, disassembling, reassembling again. And it is, in man hours, it is a very, very long process to complete a piece of art, particularly because sometimes it might just even be impossible to acquire 5 or 6 banknotes of a particular country, because these are banknotes that most of them are already out of circulation. So I need to work with my sources in different places of the world, and in some occasions they just run all out for months, so I have to leave the artwork there waiting until the moment comes when I can get them and they can be assembled to complete the piece.
Mm-hmm. Your work is accessible, isn't it? And it's perhaps quite humorous as well in the pop art style. What conversations are you hoping to provoke with it?
You are very right. I do like to have a very broad audience. I don't want my work to be difficult for people to get close to on a first approach. When you're an artist, you have 2 or 3 seconds to capture the attention. If you don't capture the attention of the people who are coming to see the show, there's no point of saying anything else. Because if you don't start a conversation, there's nothing going on. And the conversation is for that person to have with the work. I don't want to preach people about one thing or the other, because I myself am constantly having debates, internal debates. I'm talking to people. It can be economists, or it can be somebody on the street, the cab driver, a friend, my wife, which she's permanently part of these conversations. And I hope that through humor, people will be more incited and open to start the conversation. But in the long run, you will see that it's not funny. I mean, it's a dark joke, which will hopefully take you to, be more critical about things that you take for granted. Like, yeah, I mean, most people never look at a banknote. It's there. You've been looking at it all your life.
Commonplace indeed. Now turn to art, though. It's a fascinating exhibition in London until the end of the month. For now, Santiago Montoya, thank you.